All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Haloyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so we're in this book once again, man. Population Control by Jim Mars, man. All right, and I already done a few lessons on this book. All right, if you go to my YouTube page, all right, as you see right here, these 3 videos right here that I've done lessons on, man, on this book, man. All right, and this book goes into how the elites, you know, the wicked elite Edomite banking families, all right, how they go about depopulating this earth, man. All right, all the ways they go about depopulating this earth, because you know the elites have an agenda to bring forth the new world order. All right, and part of that new world order is to depopulate, man. All right, to bring this earth down to a very small number. When you look at the Georgia Guidestones, what's one of the orders? All right, to maintain, to bring down the population to 500 million. There's over 8 billion people on this planet Earth. All right, so you got to kill about 700.5 billion people, man. All right, so they come with that depopulation agenda in all types of ways. Poisoning the water supply. You know, this book goes into that. All right, poisoning the water supply. All right, the food supply, poisoning the animals themselves, so that when we eat the animals, we're poisoned. It goes into the chemtrails. It goes into militarizing the police force and all of that, man. All right, that's part of the depopulation program, their population control, man. All right, but let's get into it, man. All right, I think let's go. I think it's page 94. All right. 94. All right, chapter 13. All right, deadly water. All right, it goes into how the elites poison the water supply, man. All right, their agenda to poison the water supply. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's zoom in so you can see what we're reading right here. All right, so this is chapter 13, deadly water. All right, it says, do you know what is in the water that you drink? Do you really know? Do you really want to know? All right, it says the comedian W.C. Fields once quipped that he never drank water because fish fornicated in it. All right, but toxic water is no joke. According to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, nearly 2 billion people worldwide drink harmful contaminated water. And this is why Esau Edom has to go, man. All right, this is all happening under his rule. All right, under the rule of Esau Edom. All right, the people are mourning, man, like the scriptures say. Matter of fact, let's get that. What's that, Psalms or Proverbs? All right, let's get that real quick. All right, I think that's Psalms 92. All right, so let's get it. Yeah, oh, Psalms 29. My bad, I had it backwards. All right, I get it like this. But it's Proverbs. All right, this is Proverbs 29 verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And right now the righteous are not in authority. All right, the wicked are in authority. All right, the wicked being Esau Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elite banking families. All right, they're the ones that control and rule this planet Earth as right now. The scriptures say, Job 9 and 24. All right, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, which means the wicked is ruling right now. There is a race, all right, known as the wicked in the Bible, and that's the Edomite race, which is the so-called white race today, starting with the elite banking families, the Illuminati elite wicked banking families, man. All right, and that's why this whole earth is at mourning right now, because the wicked is bearing rule, as we about to read in this this verse right here, Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoicing. That's why the people of this earth are not rejoicing, man, because the righteous are not in authority. All right, the righteous being the Israelites. All right, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. Okay, those are who the true Israelites are. And when the Lord comes back and sets us to be kings and rulers and gods of this planet Earth once again, all right, this earth is going to be ruled in righteousness, man. All right, the people are going to rejoice, man. All right, it said, but first they have to these nations have to get what's coming to them, man. All right, they have to pay for all their sins and wickedness. All right, that 1,000 years of captivity and slavery. All right, and then after that, the nation's going to be allowed to go back into their lands and live peacefully, man. All right, and they're going to rejoice, man. All right, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, and that's why the people of this earth are mourning, because the wicked is bearing rule. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is in rulership right now. This man has to be taken down. All right, so that this earth can rejoice, man. Okay? So let's go back into this book. All right, it says, the comedian W.C. Fields once quipped that he never drank water because the fish fornicate in it. But toxic water is no joke. According to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, nearly 2 billion people worldwide drink harmful contaminated water. This water is polluted by fertilizers and pesticides from agriculture runoff. All right? Woo! All right? So in the water supply all throughout the country, all right, you got nothing but fertilizers and pesticides. Pesticides, the same pesticides they spray on the food, all right? The same chemical pesticides they spray on the food, it's in the water, man. You're drinking pesticides and fertilizer, man. All right, when you grab faucet water, you know, the tap water from your sink or whatever, man, and then you use it to boil chicken and whatever you cooking, man, soup. You know, all right, this water, all right, that's why you got to distill your water. Get a distiller and distill your water, man. All right, because distilled water is the purest form of water. All right, you have something that's known as a TDS meter, which stands for total dissolvable solids, right? And then when you stick that TDS meter in the water, it counts all the chemicals and solids that are in the water. All right, get you a cup of tap water, all right, and even the bottled water, because the bottled water no good as well, and stick a TDS meter in it. It's gonna say like 100 and something, 200 and something. All right, which represents all the chemicals and solids that are in that water. When you take distilled water and put a TDS meter in it, all right, it's going to read 0 or maybe 1 or 2 or something like that, which means nothing is in that water, man. You got to distill your water. That's the purest form of water. Get a distiller. You know, they range from certain prices. You could find one for $100, $150. They got ones for $200. You know, whatever. All right. It says the water is polluted by fertilizers and pesticides from agriculture runoff, sewage and food processing waste, lead, mercury, and other heavy metals, chemical waste from industrial discharges, and chemical contamination from hazardous waste sites. So all this stuff is in the water, all right? It says this water is polluted by fertilizers and pesticides from agriculture runoff, sewage and food processing waste, lead, mercury, and other heavy metals, all right, chemical waste from industrial discharges, and chemical contamination from hazardous waste sites. All right, most Americans take their water for granted, expecting government to ensure its purity and cleanliness. However, public water supplies may be behind many of the health problems facing the nation. All right, researchers from the U.S. Geological Survey and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency have found that an astounding 1/3 of U.S. water systems contain traces of at least 18 unregulated and potentially hazardous contaminants. All right, many of which have been shown to cause endocrine disruption and cancer. All right, woo. All right, and this is all being done purposely, man. All right, It says, is this the result? Is this the result of unintention on the part of water authorities? Or could it be part of a plan to sicken and eliminate portions of the population? That's exactly what it is. It's to dumb down the nation, man. To make them zombies so they have no idea what's happening, what's going on. All right. So they don't see the bigger picture and know what's going on behind cameras and closed curtains and all that, man. All right. But the elect, all right, all right, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, man, all right, has the Lord shine his light upon. We know what's happening, what's going on, man. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, like the scriptures say. We know exactly what is happening and what is going on. Our eyes are, we know, man, because of the scriptures, man. All right, and other people are zombies, man. But you got people outside this truth, outside this Israelite ministry, all right, that know what's going on, what's happening. All right, but we know to a full extent of what's happening, what's going on, what's getting ready to pop off, what's going to happen after. You know. All right. It says a wide range of disturbing materials have been found in American drinking water. All right. A wide range of disturbing materials have been found in American drinking water. In a nationwide survey, all right, but you damn, let me say this. You got coon niggas, all right, you coon spics, you coon Negroes, you coon Native Americans, y'all still want to love this damn devil, man. All right, after knowing that he's this damn devil, this Esau Edom, the so-called white man, after knowing that he puts nothing but chemtrails in the sky, he poisons the water supply, the food supply. You know, he goes about many ways in destroying you Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, but you still want to love this damn devil, this damn the so-called white man. All right, because this is really going about destroying the Israelites, man. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, man. It's really what it's all about, man. So you don't wake up to who you really are. Because Esau Edom, he knows the prophecies, man. That the Israelites are going to come back and wake up in these last days. They're going to remember who they are. The Lord is, the Lord is raising up the tabernacle of David, man. In these last days, man. But you still want to love this. You want to love your enemy, man. All right? Your number one enemy, the so-called white man, Esau Edom. All right? Which is the number one enemy to you Israelites, man. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, man. All right? It says a wide range of disturbing materials have been found in American drinking water. In a nationwide survey of 25 water utilities, scientists found traces of the herbicide metolachlor, all right? A pesticide commonly applied to conventional corn, soy, cotton, safflower, potato, and other crops. All right, so this same, all right, pesticide they put on the food is found in the water, man. All right, as well as the heavy metal strontium, which is linked to bone problems. All right, and I looked up strontium. All right, it says strontium is a soft silvery white alkaline earth metal that is chemically reactive. It has an atomic number of 38 and is found naturally in Earth's crust. While non-radioactive strontium is relatively harmless, the radioactive isotope strontium-90 is a byproduct of nuclear reactions and can be a health hazard. Woo. All right, so that's in the water, man. All right, it says let me start right here again. It says a wide range of disturbing materials have been found in American drinking water. In a nationwide survey of 25 water utilities, scientists found traces of the herbicide metolachlor, all right, a pesticide commonly applied to conventional corn, soy, cotton, safflower, potato, and other crops, as well as the heavy metal strontium, which is linked to bone problems. All right, other chemicals identified include so-called perfluorinated compounds like perfluorooctanoic, all right, acid, which numerous scientific studies have found can cause thyroid disease and various types of cancer. All right. It says of further concern is chromium 6 contamination, which affects the water supply of up to 70 million people around the country. After investigating water pollution around Hinckley, California, NewsHour Science correspondent Miles O'Brien stated, in the 1950s and 60s, Pacific Gas and Electric Company admits it dumped 26 tons of coolant made of chromium 6 into unlined retaining ponds here. All right. The poisoning of water in Hinckley was portrayed in the film Aaron Brockovich. All right. Might have to watch that movie. All right. It says the chemical is toxic and causes cancer. PG&E has spent $700 million to clean up the water supply around Hinckley. But while the chemical's presence has been reduced, it still remains in groundwater. With mounting evidence that chromium 6 is more dangerous than once thought, the EPA has decided to revisit their standards for the amount of the chemical that is allowed into the drinking water supply. So they allowed all this into the drinking water. All right. All right. All right. In April 2014, California's Public Health Department adopted the nation's first drinking water standard for chromium 6. All right. The standard was set at 10 parts per billion. All right. The equivalent of about 10 drops of water in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. This is 500 times greater than the level set by the state's Environmental Protection Agency. All right. Unfortunately, after years of contamination, it may already be too late. Such hazardous water threatens the health of communities all across the country. In Massachusetts alone, more than a third of the towns have lost all or portions of their drinking water to toxic contamination, according to the Toxic Action Center, a New England-based group dedicated to helping communities cope with hazardous pollution resulting from more than a century of irresponsible and illegal handling of toxic chemicals. All right, according to the TAC, the most common public health threat is hazardous waste contaminating drinking water. Toxins can seep into buildings built near hazardous waste sites, causing indoor air problem, respiratory diseases, and chemical sensitivity, stated the TAC website, adding the experience of living in a contaminated home not only ends normal life, but also can cause serious psychological illness. That's why you people be all bugged out, man. All bugged out your mind, bro. You people are fucking done, man. All right? Done. All right? And that's why you're getting ready to be swept by thermonuclear destruction, man. All right, this is why you people can't receive the truth, you know? All right? It says, and it's not only industrial waste that arouses concern, all right? We previously seen how toxic many prescription medications truly are. And every day, huge amounts of these drugs are flushed away into the water system. All right, all these pharmaceutical drugs, prescription drugs, all right? So we got a whole bunch of combinations of just drugs in the water supply, all right? It says, in every day, huge amounts of these drugs are flushed away into the water system. Just a partial list of drugs found in the water supply is highly alarming. It includes antidepressants, anticonvulsants, tranquilizers, antibacterials, antipsychotics, ACE inhibitors, nitroglycerin, and steroids. All right. According to a 2010 investigation by Time, writer Jeffrey Kluger, there are about 3,000 prescription pharmaceuticals being used in the US and thousands more over the counter drugs, not to mention creams and ointments we smear on and then shower off. John Spatz, commissioner of Chicago's Department of Water Management, observed between cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and other sources, there are 80,000 potential combinations of chemicals. Yo, and that's all, and you just drinking that shit, and you people just bugged out, man. Bugged out is all hell, man. All right. It says Kluger noted that while wastewater from homes gets treated at sewage plants, all right, it's never possible to remove it's never possible to remove every trace of drug. All right. What's more, sewage pipes break, septic tanks overflow, and in some parts of the US, straight piping, which sends untreated sewage, all right, flowing directly into surface water, is still practice. All right. Damn. All right. All right. One way or another, the drugs find their way back to us, he wrote. All right. Even everyday items such as the new energy-saving mercury-filled coil light bulbs may cause health problems. All right. Compact fluorescent lights are said to be safe, but only if the glass tube is not broken. All right. It says cracked or shattered bulbs can release as many as 4 to 5 milligrams of mercury, enough to contaminate 6,000 gallons of water. All right. Damn. All right. It says clearly clean water needs to become a national priority. The Toxic Action Center suggests a federal policy that would identify hazardous waste sites and levy a pollution tax against any company dumping toxic materials. It also stresses that states should provide technical assistance, adequate funding, and aggressive deadlines to affect residents in order to ensure the purity of their water. But you got to understand, bro, the elites, they buy and own all these, these centers and companies that control everything, bro. They're all funded by the elites because money speaks, man. All right, so they do what the elites tell them to do. The whole point is to poison the water supply, man. These companies, these so-called companies that are looking out and whatever, man, trying to clean up the water supply, man, they're all bought and paid for, man. They're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, man. All right. It says without this sort of action, we are already beginning to see the dire consequences. In August 2014, 500,000 citizens of Toledo, Ohio were left without water due to reports that contaminated, let me read that again. It says in August 2014, 500,000 citizens of Toledo, Ohio were left without water due to reports that contaminated algae had been found in Lake Erie, the city's primary water supply. All right. To complicate the situation, officials said the common practice of boiling water for safety only made the toxic algae more concentrated. All right. Yeah, you people be talking about boiling water. All right. It says the corporate mass media explained the water contamination as the result of algae blooms in Lake Erie, but mostly failed to mention the true cause, which, according to Lake Erie Ecosystem Priority, a creation of the Water Conservation Group International Joint Commission, was phosphorus and other chemicals from both agricultural and urban sources. Phosphorus, bro. phosphorus. Is not phosphorus used in war? Or it was at one time, and then it became illegal. All right? It's illegal to use phosphorus in war, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. All right? It's like a gas, a phosphorus gas, you know? Matter of fact, let me look that up real quick. All right? Are phosphorus bombs illegal in war? Let's look that up real quick. If it's illegal in war, then damn. All right, white phosphorus is a controversial substance used in warfare for various purposes, but its legality under international law is complex and dependent on how it's employed. All right, not a chemical weapon. White phosphorus is not classified as a chemical weapon under the Chemical Weapons Convention because its primary effect through heat and flame, not toxicity. All right. Incendiary weapons classification: when used to cause fire or burns, white phosphorus munitions are considered incendiary weapons. All right. I just want to get to the main conclusion, the point. While white phosphorus munitions are not outright banned, their use, particularly in populated areas or as incendiary weapons, can be unlawful under international humanitarian law, especially if it fails to differentiate between civilians and military targets and doesn't take on feasible precautions to minimize civilian harm. All right. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep getting into it. All right. It says an obvious solution to such contamination would be to end the use of agricultural chemicals that end up in the water supply. But this is rarely mentioned by a media dependent on chemical and pharmaceutical advertising. Yeah, because the elites, the Rockefellers, they control the media. All right, the elite banking families control the media. All right, you can read that. You can learn about that in many books. All right, it says it's frustrating that all attempts to stop the poisoning of our planet are characterized as leftist agendas. All right, by conservative business publications. All right, wrote Mike Adams. All right, in my view, political affiliations don't matter if we're all dying from the collapse of a global ecosystem that we destroyed with our own foolish ignorance. If I had to pick a philosophical belief system that I really feel strongly about, it would be a system that declares all life to be sacred and seeks to protect living ecosystems from the poisoners who are systematically destroying. Yeah, it's being systematically done. All right. That's exactly what it's doing from the elite banking families. That's why the scriptures we read earlier, all right? Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people are mourning. And the people are mourning right now because the wicked are bearing rule. Who is the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elite banking families. All right, Esau, Edom is known as the wicked race in the Bible. When you go to Malachi, the first chapter, the Edomites are known as the border of wickedness. All right, so they're the wicked race that the Heavenly Father created. All right, He put the earth in their hands as of right now. All right, so that's why this whole earth is mourning. But when the righteous rejoice, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and that's going to happen when Yahweh Shai returns. All right, He's getting ready to put the righteous in authority, man. All right, which are the Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, man. All right, let's get back. Let's see how much we got left. All right, I might have to do a part 2 on this. All right, let's keep reading. It says, and in many parts of the country, what little clean water remains is fast disappearing because of unregulated usage. This is why we got to get out of here, bro. This is why the nuclear missiles have to hit this earth. This is why the nuclear missiles have to hit this earth. Because this earth has to be cleansed. This earth has to be cleansed. And that's exactly what the nuclear missiles are going to do. It's going to literally dissolve everything. Everything is going to be dissolved. All right, like it tells you in Second Peter's the third chapter. All right, Peter said, knowing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be, man? Everything is going to be dissolved. All the works, he said, the earth thereof and the works therein, all right, shall be dissolved, man. Everything is going to be everything you see on this earth is going to dissolve from the thermonuclear destruction. The scriptures say the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right, and that's going to be done by the nuclear destruction. Everything is going to go back to its state, its original state through the nuclear fire. All the elements are going to melt and be cleansed with fervent heat, man. All right, the soil of this earth is going to be cleansed. Everything is going to be cleansed from the nuclear destruction because the scriptures say, let's get it. All right, that's the scripture I always get. All right, 2nd Ezra 15. All right, the 6th verse. All right, 2nd Ezra 15 and 6. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. That's right, man. All right, so this earth has to be cleansed with thermonuclear destruction. The fire that's getting ready to sweep America and other parts of this earth is going to swallow these nations, man. It's going to swallow this earth, man. All right, and cleanse it. All right, because fire is the best cleansing agent. All right, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So this earth has to be cleansed by the thermonuclear destruction. Why? Because wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Everything is polluted: the water, the food, the animals, everything, the earth itself. All right, under the rulership of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, this is all happening under his watch. All right, it says in many parts of the country, what little clean water remains is fast disappearing. All right, yeah, because the water is going to be cleansed too by the thermonuclear destruction. All right, some of the water, the water going to be filtered, man. When Yahweh Shai returns, man, all this water is going to become clean, man. All right. Just like how the water was filtered, man, when Moses threw the bush in the water, man. All right. All right. It says, and in many parts of the country, all right, what little clean water remains is fast disappearing because of unregulated usage. All right. In August 2014, the residents of San Joaquin Valley, all right, let me read that again. It says, in August 2014, the residents of San Joaquin Valley in drought-plagued California found themselves without water as individual wells dried up. All right, the Tulare County Office of Emergency Services resorted to shipping a 12-gallon per person water, all right, ration, all right, to hundreds of homes without water. All right, bottled drinking water enough for about 3 weeks was delivered by firemen, the Red Cross, and volunteer groups at a cost of $30,000. All right, and was seen as merely a temporary fix. Some residents told the local media that they were reluctant to admit to being waterless out of fear their landlords would evict them or social workers would take their children away. All right, farm worker Olivia Sanchez said she still gets a trickle from her tap, all right, but dirt starts coming out with the water. I try to use the least possible. All right, I'll move if I have to, she said. All right, the situation in California is neither localized nor temporary. All right, one state-owned well near Sacramento recorded a 100-foot drop in water table over 3 months in 2014, while many other wells simply dried up. It was no joke on April 1st, 2015, when California Governor Jerry Brown cited the ongoing water crisis, ordered mandatory water use reductions for the first time in the state's history. Brown ordered a 25% water reduction on the state's 400 local water supply agencies, which prompted some to recall that during a 1977 drought, a model ordinance was proposed that would penalize repeat water wasters with fines up to 300 or 30 days in jail or both. All right, y'all poison the water and then you want to jail people for using clean water. Like, all right, it says Richard Howitt, all right, one of the authors of a University of California at Davis study of the water problem, all right, described the state's water woes as a slow-moving train wreck. He added a well-managed basin is used like a reserve bank account, all right? We're acting like the super rich who have so much money they don't need to balance their checkbook, all right? And it goes into the next section of the chapter, water for few, all right? Matter of fact, let me see. Then it goes into the fluoride. All right, it goes into the fluoride in the water. All right. And then that's in the next chapter, deadly air. All right, going into the chemtrails and all of that. All right, all the ways, Esau, Edom, the elites go about for depopulation, man. All right, so if it be the Lord's will, I'll do a part 2. All right. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Rat Tazad. This lesson was edifying, man. All right, call Halal Yum Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quick Dash. All right, so on to the next one. Shalom, shalom.